The vastness of our universe and the space surrounding us leaves scientists with countless questions. They are constantly attempting to delve further into the unknown expanse that stretches endlessly past our atmosphere and discover what lies beyond the realm of our understanding. Since the Large Hadron Collider first started up on September 10, 2008, it's been at the center of many incredible discoveries, with those around the world questioning the true nature of this giant machine. Just recently, someone was live streaming above the Large Hadron Collider when they noticed something strange. They described the object in question as being a set of stationary lights, saying that they didn't move, were hovering above the Large Hadron Collider complex, and that every so often each of the lights would turn on and off, but said that not at any point did they descend in elevation, and describing the object as being in the shape of a triangle or a boomerang. As the live stream continued, it started to gain traction, as thousands of people flooded in to see what this thing was, while at the same time putting forward their own theories in order to explain it. The individual was there for over an hour, recording the whole thing. Oddly enough, those who live close to the region have long said that strange lights and weather phenomena have been recorded above the complex, and that these strange lights don't match things like planes and helicopters. One person said the following about the strange lights. "This is a little ominous, isn't it? There's a huge triangular-shaped object hovering above the Large Hadron Collider, while lightning is surrounding it. It's like a scene from a movie." End quote. One of the strangest things about this event was how the object just stayed in the same position for all of the live stream, with some of the viewers asking how it could have done this. The strange object was made up of 4 lights that would occasionally turn on and off. At this moment in time, the size of this craft is not known, but some have guessed that it's anywhere from 40 feet to hundreds of feet in length. Another user has said that residents keep reporting strange openings in the sky, describing them as looking like portals, and oddly enough, in some instances, witnesses have reported seeing strange objects flying out of these openings, only to fly off at incredible speeds. During the last few years, there's been a wide range of reports featuring sightings of glowing objects that don't appear to match anything in the area. Some described these objects as looking like glowing orbs, while others called them green fireballs, and said that they demonstrated a form of intelligence in their evasive maneuvering and flight patterns. One of the first known reports surrounding these strange aircrafts was made back in 2010. According to the report, a civilian airplane, alongside a nearby military airplane, both reported what they described as a bright green fireball passing nearby as they were flying over the area. The 2 pilots were quoted as describing the fireballs as a huge green meteor and a green ball of fire with no physical dimensions or outlines. Residents backed up these claims and noted that strange objects could be seen traveling across the sky, but after investigations were carried out, the first report was dismissed, saying that the most likely explanation for this sighting was that of a meteor burning up in the lower atmosphere, with a possible chemical composition of copper chloride, a compound commonly known for burning a bright green under natural conditions. Oddly enough, only a few days after this first sighting, locals in the area would go on to report that portals started opening up in the sky and that strange objects could be seen flying out of them. Although this sounds like a completely fabricated story, a very similar report has been made at the Skinwalker Ranch, which can be found in the United States. One user detailed the following encounter. In 2010, a group of us saw a bright light in the sky that appeared to be an opening of sorts. At first, we thought that it may have been a new kind of technology that was testing out company logos in the sky. But as we were watching this strange spiral in the sky, an object then flew out of it. After around 10 seconds, the strange spiral closed, and the object that flew out of it was nowhere to be seen. We all just stood there questioning what we had just witnessed. End quote. Pilots in the area have described the aircrafts they've witnessed as displaying intelligent and erratic movements, and appeared to contain no physical outlines of any kind. Realizing that something far more unnatural was occurring, this second sighting would cause more people in the area to take notice of these strange aircrafts. Oddly enough, only 12 days following the prior incident, an astronomer working at the University of New Mexico claimed to have spotted several of these objects that had been reported. When observing the unexplainable lights, the astronomer studied their paths and emissions and gathered a significant amount of information before writing to the United States Air Force. The astronomer's letter detailed these objects, and they said to the United States military that the lights were not typical of meteor behavior and must be a form of intelligent aerial craft. As of right now, these sightings have been dismissed as being planes, meteorites, or space debris burning up in the atmosphere. Although these bizarre sightings have been massively downplayed by military officials, those living in the region have said they don't buy this explanation and said that something strange is happening above this area. The European Council for Nuclear Research said the following on their website. The creation of black holes at the Large Hadron Collider is very unlikely. However, some theories suggest that the formation of tiny quantum black holes may be possible. The observation of such an event would be thrilling in terms of our understanding of the universe. The creation of a quantum black hole at the Large Hadron Collider would be very surprising, but very exciting indeed. It would allow physicists to learn about nature's most elusive force, gravity. The creation of a black hole at the Large Hadron Collider would confirm theories that our universe is not four-dimensional, but indeed hosts other dimensions. It would be quite a spectacular philosophical outcome. In the same way that the theory of relativity or of quantum mechanics revolutionized our way of thinking, discovering the existence of extra dimensions would be a major new milestone in our understanding of the universe. There is no obvious application for knowing this. Many people will start speculating about using these extra dimensions for space and time travel, or as a source of clean energy, and who knows what else. End quote. Interestingly, these triangular-shaped aircrafts haven't just been seen above the Large Hadron Collider. For years now, they've been reported in pretty much every country around the world. What they are, though, is still heavily debated. Some argue that these crafts are part of the latest stealth fleet of either the United States or United Kingdom's military, while some users have questioned how we would have such a thing. Another thing that's been picked up on by amateur researchers is how these aircrafts are never usually seen during the daytime. Although there have been a few photographs taken during the day, it still hasn't helped us to come to a definitive answer for what these things are, along with how they are able to achieve some of the things that they do. There have been around 4,000 reports of these triangles since 1990 in the United Kingdom alone. There have also been waves of triangle sightings in Belgium, France, Holland, and Germany. According to databases that keep track of mysterious aircrafts, the Black Triangle is one of the most commonly sighted crafts that gets reported by eyewitnesses, and most of the people who have seen these crafts describe the same thing: a dark black triangle hovering silently in the sky. Mr. McGrillen, a media journalist, has said that United States officials have in their possession a clear photograph of one of these black triangles rising out of the ocean, saying that insiders are aware of this photograph, as they have gone on record about it, saying that the craft was captured back in 2019 by a pilot. Mr. McGrillen said the following: "It could be a key piece of evidence, demonstrating that we are truly in the presence of some other intelligence." End quote. At the time, the pilot was flying in a Super Hornet. The photograph in question was captured by equipment on board the Super Hornet, which is one of the reasons why it hasn't been released to the public, with insiders noting that the photograph is still locked up with United States officials, who don't talk about it, and who've said likely won't be releasing it anytime in the near future. Those who've seen the photograph have said that it was captured by the pilot off the east coast of the United States, and describe it as looking like a giant black triangle with blunted edges and having spherical white lights on each of the corners. Tom Rogan, the national security writer for the Washington Examiner, has come forward and said that the photograph does exist after being told about it from insiders. He said the following: "It's the tip of the iceberg, but we will see more leaks of mysterious flying aircraft imagery and data in the coming years. United States officials should get ahead of the curve and officially release more material." End quote. It's for this reason that some have said that these mysterious black triangles don't belong to us, noting that if they aren't willing to even share a photograph or talk about it, then it's likely that these things are coming from an outside source. Some online users have said that it's strange because in the last few years, we've basically been told that many of these crafts are actually seen out in the oceans, and this has caused some to put forward their own theories for why this is. For years now, people have said they've seen strange objects flying in and out of the oceans, with many dismissing these claims as nothing more than made-up stories, but with insiders now admitting that many of these crafts have been seen in our oceans by United States officials and the military, it's only caused more questions to be put forward, including who do they belong to? Why are they more commonly seen out in the oceans? What's out there that's causing them to fly miles out to sea? Why aren't these photographs being released? And ultimately, where are they coming from? Mysteries of the universe are colossal. Some perhaps even stretch beyond our understanding. Still, humanity seeks new lengths, new advancements and new knowledge to achieve the impossible, and someday understand everything there is. Artificial intelligence is being used extensively in science to accelerate research, make predictions, analyze data, and model complex systems. In biology and genetics, artificial intelligence is being used to analyze massive amounts of genetic data to find patterns and predict diseases. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing how science is done by enabling researchers to process and analyze vast amounts of data quickly and accurately, making predictions and designing new experiments and treatments. Our DNA is what allows us to be the distinctive and individual beings that we are, and is the driving force behind both the similarities and differences of each unique human. Because changes and random mutations within DNA are the driving forces behind both evolution and genetic diseases, researchers have spent countless dollars and hours attempting to uncover the mysteries hiding within the coding of our DNA. Studying mutations is a bit of a double-edged sword that has perplexed scientists for decades because of the paradoxical nature of evolution and disease. On one hand, mutations within the genetic coding material are typically detrimental to function and disrupt the normal flow of body systems. So how can certain mutations affect the individual in such a positive way that entirely new species can be generated over time? This is a question that has plagued scientists for years, but it seems that an answer has finally been proposed. Research led by Jerne Uhl, a professor of molecular neuroscience with University College London, has put forward an answer to this question. The research team behind this revelation discovered a code hidden within the part of our genetic material known as repetitive genetic elements, which are DNA sequences that our cells can continually make many copies of. Over time, this repetition has included itself thousands of times in our genome, which is a phenomenon that is unique to the human species and has been shown to play a vital role in evolution. The repetitive elements can switch on and off, controlling which characteristics are presented in an individual, allowing for the slow, continual evolution of the species as favorable traits are selectively chosen and propagated. The code that the research team found within these repetitive genetic elements could help to explain how these pieces of DNA are used to mitigate the potential disruptions of genetic mutations that could be favorable to the species. It works as a sort of molecular balancing act of positive and negative forces, working through proteins to control whether mutations within repetitive elements remain and are slowly integrated into the DNA or are removed. If a mutation causes too much of the positive force, the negative force steps in and removes it, and vice versa. This complicated but harmonious process allows mutations to exist quietly in our genetic code, harmlessly accumulating further mutations until the inherent code is slightly altered enough that the repetitive element takes on a meaningful function, furthering evolution. In contrast, a genetic disorder is a mutation that happens rapidly, disrupting body systems as the affected code can no longer optimally interact with the unaltered elements of the genetic material. This research is groundbreaking as it helps to explain why evolution is such a long process occurring over an indefinitely long period of time. Our genes are not slowly changing in order to move towards evolution one code at a time, but rather operating under a facilitation and inhibition process that allows for fluid changes to be slowly integrated, providing that the balance between the associated genetic code is also present for maximum continued function. Despite the fact that the inherent mechanisms of disease and evolution are the same, researchers now understand a bit more about why evolution operates to effectively and successfully propel a species forward, while similar mutations occurring alone in an individual will result in discord and dysfunction. Artificial intelligence studies the human genome and finds unknown human ancestors. As amazing and wonderful as the human brain is, sometimes there are things that it simply cannot tell us about ourselves without a little extra help. One of the things that scientists rely on artificial intelligence for is extensive analysis of both human and animal genomes to determine relationships and attempt to track the pattern of evolution through the millennium. Recently, one of these artificial intelligence studies discovered the presence of a strange ghost population that predated the human species that we are today. The analysis, which was performed by artificial intelligence using machine learning technology, looked at 8 of the current leading models of theorized human evolution and discovered traces of an unknown human ancestor that likely mated with the Homo sapiens of Asia and Oceania. This mysterious population of ancestors was hidden until now because the only thing remaining to hint at its presence are small, virtually indistinguishable fragments of DNA that remain interspersed within modern human DNA. And it was not until machine learning pointed it out to us that scientists were even aware of its presence. This unidentified ghost population appears to be a descendant of interbreeding between the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. Remarkably, the 90,000-year-old fossilized remains of a girl appearing to be the only example of the result of a first-generation mixing between a Neanderthal and Denisovan was discovered recently, leading scientists to wonder whether she was a forerunner to this newly identified ghost population. The Denisovans themselves were only discovered and catalogued as a species a decade ago, making these subsequent discoveries missing pieces to a very recent puzzle. Scientists have long understood that the early humanoid species mated with other species as they spread across the globe and encountered each other. Over time, these species gave rise to new species and then went extinct as the modern Homo sapiens evolved. However, identifying the smaller populations that arose from this, such as the unions between the Neanderthals and Denisovans, has proven exceedingly difficult. This recent artificial intelligence discovery, pointing to a distinct ancestor of both Neanderthal and Denisovan origins, has allowed scientists to begin to understand how introgressions between ancient species caused diversions in the human genome that allowed the painstaking evolution into the first modern-day Homo sapiens to occur. Artificial intelligence was able to make this discovery because of its ability to identify locations of high divergence in the human genome, to indicate locations of potential introgressions between species, and further compare the genetic material at these locations, a task that would be almost impossibly painstaking otherwise. This is only the latest in a series of examples demonstrating the usefulness of artificial intelligence in genetic research because of the ability to utilize machine learning to accurately analyze and compare millions upon millions of pieces of ancient DNA with the DNA of modern humans, identifying patterns and connections that otherwise would have gone unnoticed. This has allowed scientists to begin the process of resolving some of the questions that have previously been left unanswered in order to piece together our ancient origins. Did our DNA come from space rocks? The building blocks of our DNA have been discovered in space rocks, begging the question, did our DNA come from space rocks? It's possible that cosmic impacts brought the ingredients needed to create life on Earth. DNA is made up of 4 vital ingredients. For years, scientists wondered if meteorites could have brought these ingredients to Earth. However, until now, only adenine and guanine had been detected, not thymine, cytosine, or uracil. Nucleobases come in 2 forms, called purines and pyrimidines. For a long time, only purines were seen in meteorites, and pyrimidines seemed to be missing in action. The main difference between the two is that purines are made from a hexagonal molecule fused with a pentagonal one, while pyrimidines are smaller and are made from just the hexagonal molecule. Scientists have now been able to find all the purines and pyrimidines that are in DNA and RNA in the meteorites that arrived on Earth. According to the astrochemist who led the study, Yasuhiro Oba, the presence of the 5 primary nucleobases in meteorites may have a contribution to the emergence of genetic functions before the onset of life on the early Earth. The methods used in this study to detect the nucleobases demonstrate the incredible scientific advancements that have been made in recent years. The researchers used techniques that were originally designed for genetic and pharmaceutical research that are able to detect nucleobases down to the range of parts per trillion. The techniques used were at least about 10 to 100 times greater in sensitivity than previous techniques to detect pyrimidines in meteorites. The samples analyzed in this study were from 3 carbon-rich meteorites that had been previously suspected of having the capability to host chemical reactions that created nucleobases. Although it's still unknown why purines were much more abundant in the meteorites than pyrimidines, one clue could be that purines contain a pentagonal ring called imidazole, while pyrimidines do not. Imidazole can behave as a catalyst to set off chemical reactions, which could explain why purines were so much more prevalent on these meteorites than pyrimidines. Whatever the reason for this discrepancy, One thing is for certain, this study could be a breakthrough in understanding how life formed on Earth. Although these discoveries are incredible, scientists have said that artificial intelligence can be dangerous if it is not developed, used, and controlled responsibly. Researchers have said that algorithms can perpetuate and amplify human biases if they are trained on biased data or designed with biased objectives. AI has the potential to automate many jobs, leading to significant job displacement and social inequality. Artificial intelligence can be used by malicious actors to launch cyber attacks, such as hacking and identity theft. Scientists and researchers who are involved in these studies have said that it's crucial to recognize these risks and take measures to mitigate them. This includes developing systems that are transparent, explainable, and unbiased. It also involves ensuring that AI development adheres to ethical principles and that regulations and laws govern their use. As long as artificial intelligence is developed and used with caution and responsibility, it can be a powerful tool that benefits society. When scientists were asked if artificial intelligence would take over, they said that it's very unlikely that artificial intelligence will take over humanity, saying that it's a tool created and controlled by humans, and its actions and decisions are determined by the algorithms and data it is programmed with. While AI has the potential to surpass human intelligence in specific tasks, it does not have the ability to become self-aware, conscious, or have human-like motivations. Moreover, ethical principles, regulations, and laws govern the development and use of artificial intelligence to ensure its safe and responsible use. AI development is progressing rapidly, but it's still a long way from becoming a self-aware and autonomous entity capable of taking over humanity. However, it's crucial to ensure that artificial intelligence is developed and used ethically, transparently, and for the benefit of society. We need to ensure that AI is aligned with human values and does not cause harm or violate privacy rights. As long as we develop and use AI with caution and responsibility, it is unlikely that it will take over humanity. When it comes to scientific discoveries, research possesses the unique ability to look at once forward and backward. As questions are answered about where we came from and how our ancestors came to be in the first place, we can apply this knowledge to the future and look towards ever bigger and brighter dreams and discoveries. So, what do you make of these incredible discoveries? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.